Welcome, one and all, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Now, folks, I don't want to jinx anything, but it is really beginning to look like there may possibly be a small chance of sometime in the future consequences for former President Pepto-Abysmal. Because just Friday, because on Friday, Attorney General Merrick Garland named a special counsel to probe the former president. It's former federal prosecutor and General Zod's cousin, Jack Smith. Kneel before Smith. Jack Smith, if that is his real name, has a hell of a resume. To take this assignment, he had to leave his current job at The Hague, where he investigated war crimes in Kosovo. So he's perfect to go after the ex-president. He already has experience dealing with disasters that peaked in the 90s. Smith is going to take over. Hey, remember the 90s? Smith is going to take over both the January 6th and the Mar-a-Lago documents case, and a lot of legal experts believe this means that the former president could be headed for trouble. They're not alone. Even before Smith was tapped, former Attorney General Bill Barr said this.
I personally think that they probably have the basis for legitimately indicting the president.
Well, I personally think I can't personally go through this again, Bill Barr. I had my heart broken before by you, Bill Barr, after you redacted the Mueller report. Well, you can't redact my feelings. It's always Mueller time in here. Now, that said, what time we got here? It's Mueller time. Mueller time. This news does make it seem like there's an indictment around the corner, and the former president had kind of a weird reaction saying, I am not going to partake in it. I'm not going to partake in this. Oh, he doesn't want to partake. You know what? I'm no lawyer, but I didn't realize that was one of the options. The suspect does not want to partake in the investigation. Your Honor, while admittedly the prosecution does have overwhelming evidence of his guilt, my client pleads not feeling it. Now, former president did get some good news this weekend because on Saturday, Elon Musk reinstated his Twitter account. No, Elon, I won't go back. The racism, the misspelling, the calls to violence, the ... Remember? Remember the ... Remember the covfefe? I am not. You know what? I am not going to partake in it. Of course, Musk, ever the genius, approached the decision scientifically with a Twitter poll. The former president won with an overwhelming majority of 51.8%. Good enough for Musk, who announced the reinstatement with the Latin phrase vox populi, vox Dei, which means the voice of the people is the voice of God. Well, I took a little pig Latin in college, so let me respond by saying uxe and agbe of ixday. So, ixday. Ixnay on the ixday. So Musk goes, based on a 1.8% majority in a completely made-up poll riddled with bots, I'm super cool reinstating a maniac whose last tweet celebrated a violent coup attempt on Capitol Hill. And in return for that complete moral debasement, the former president said, no thanks. Look what he said, Elon.
He did put up a poll, and I hear it's very overwhelming, very strong, but I have something called Trump. If you look, it's Trump-owned, but it's really fantastic. Truth Social.
He couldn't even remember the name of his own failed online hate bucket. He's got to be the worst huckster of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up and sample Dr. What's my name? Dr. Docterson's magic elixir. Guaranteed to give you or cure you stuff and things. Wait, come back. Did I mention it has mercury? Now, turning to our current president, today was the annual turkey pardon, a day when this country's most notorious turkey criminals walk free. Then walk around in circles, then bonk into a tree, and if it rains, they look up and they drown. They're very dumb. This year's, you know that, right? You can't leave turkeys outside because if it rains, they look up and they drown. Eating them is a mercy. No letters, please. Dear CBS, as a member of the turkey community, this year's... This year's lucky turkeys are chocolate and chip. And the president kicked it off by welcoming the folks who came to look at the confused birds.
It's a wonderful Thanksgiving tradition here at the White House. There's a lot to say about it, but it's chilly outside, so I'm going to keep this short. Nobody likes it when their turkey gets cold.
Yeah. Nobody likes turkey when it's cold. Who ever heard of a turkey sandwich? Ugh. Especially with a little cranberry sauce, some stuffing on there, eating it at 1 a.m. while watching Forged in Fire with a dog. To his credit, the president did not hog the mic.
Anyway, do you want to talk?
He's doing turkey crowd work. All right, who here's from a factory farm? Raise your wing. Don't you hate it when they don't warm up the baster? Anyway, gobble, gobble, that's my set. Tip your handler. Yeah, it's always in there.
I see you.
This weekend, there were some other big events at the White House. Oh, on Sunday, President Biden celebrated his 80th birthday. Yes, give it up.
All right.
80. Happy birthday, sir. Remember, you're only as old as the number of years you have been alive, which is an unprecedented number for the job that you have. But you know what? I think his age is actually a strength at this point. The world is so crazy. I love having the stability and wisdom of those crowned with many winters. A man who has firsthand memories of bipartisanship, of a shared vision for America, of a time when ice came in wagons. This birthday makes Biden the oldest president in U.S. history. The youngest, of course, was President Baby Taft. Who can forget his campaign slogan, more? Bah. And, is this true? It's time for sport. Yesterday was the kickoff of the World Cup, a global phenomenon. It's been called the Super Bowl of football. Today, our boys on the U.S. men's national team took on Wales, and the winner was no one. They tied 1-1, which may sound boring, but it's fun in metric. This year, the tournament's being held in Qatar, a choice made by FIFA, which is, and I don't want to overstate this, the most corrupt organization in the history of the world. So much so, I got a little something. So much so that the U.S. Department of Justice says FIFA officials gave Qatar the hosting rights because they were bribed. And I'm sorry, I don't care who hears me. I'm going to stay up here on national television and say that about FIFA every night, unless it turns out that FIFA is a sponsor. Okay? No. Qatar is a bad choice for a lot of reasons. One, their average nighttime temperature is what meteorologists call the devil's grundle. Plus, they have an atrocious human rights record, and their laws make homosexuality illegal and punishable by up to 3 years in prison, and severely curtail women's rights to marry, study, work, and travel. But that's all things. It explains their travel campaign for women, sit quietly, visit Qatar. To try to cover their butts before the tournament, FIFA insisted that there wouldn't be any discrimination, saying everyone will be welcome at the World Cup. But at the same time, Qatari officials warned LGBTQ soccer fans against public displays of affection and said people will not be permitted to go shirtless during matches or in public settings. No problem. I can't imagine anyone at a soccer game would ever go shirtless. They're just not... Oh my. That messy? That was messy? They're not just anti-gay, they're anti-fun. Because after saying it would be fine to sell alcohol at the games, Qatar banned beer sales, leaving tournament sponsor Budweiser stuck with a massive warehouse full of beer, which it says will go to the winning country. Now, why would you ruin their celebration like that? We got a great show for you tonight. My guest is Daniel Craig. And when we come back, are you getting scammed on your dating app?